Hello, it is Matt, and welcome to episode 77 of Gross Oversimplifications, where I talk about how to do stuff to your guitar yourself. But today I'm going to talk about what to do to my guitar myself. And this is the guitar. Straps in the way. It's a sort of Bitzer telly that I've been playing in my band. My band's got a show on the weekend. I'm in a band called Death Cult. And we're playing with a couple of cool bands on Saturday. And I've got to make sure that the guitar is good to go. So I thought, maybe I could show you what I do just to prepare my guitar in the event that you have to not have your guitar break and look like a fool in front of thousands of people who are, pretty sure thousands of people will turn up to the show, but, we'll see. Anyway, so I'll stop the video and then film myself doing my restring and stuff. And then I'll put it up and talk about it, and hopefully that'll work. If not, you'll never know, because I'll delete it. All right, let's do it.
2,000 years later.
All right, it is done, and I am back. Now, I'm not going to do the timer thing because generally, actually, I think this took about 18 minutes or something all up. This is a good time for me to have a disclaimer that when I say I'm going to tell you how to do something in 3 minutes, it means I'm talking for 3 minutes. It doesn't mean do it in 3 minutes. Take your time with this stuff. Don't rush. There's no point rushing. That said, I did speed it up because it's very boring in real time. So here's me, like 4 times speed, doing the needful. Okay. And I'll just start it now. That's me. First thing I do is loosen off the strings. So loosen off the strings and cut them off and chuck them in the bin. I'm not interested in keeping strings or anything like that because they're garbage. So do slacken your strings before you cut them. So this is, I just tightened the tuners, just the little, nut at the top of the tuner. Just make sure that's tight every time. Because they do become loose over time and, you wreck your tuner. I've done videos on that. This is me just giving the frets a little bit of a polish. I'm not going too hard. Number one, I keep my guitar pretty clean. But it's nice to have shiny frets, so I give them a little bit of a shine. I just use a little, like nail buffer thing that I cut up and one of those fret guards and just give it a quick polish. If this was a client's guitar, I would go into more depth. But it's mine, so I don't care. So this is me. I stopped the video a couple of times. I'm taking the strap off and just making sure that the strap locks are tight. They do become loose. I use the Shaler type. So check them. Check them when you're doing it. And this is me, and I should have got it, but it's, abrasive cord. So what I'm doing here is I'm running the cord through where the string mounts, through the ferrule, through the back, and I'm just sort of flossing it out, and it smooths off any sort of hard edges that might have developed since the last time I did it. And it means that your strings will break less at there. That's me just cleaning it off. And so just checking that the strap buttons are nice and tight, me forgetting that the strings were somewhere else. So I'm fitting strings. I'm fitting Elixir strings. On this guitar, I use 11 to 49. I just like the tension for that. So I'm just fitting the strings. I've got locking tuners on this guitar. So you might be like, you're not winding those strings on very much. Because you don't have to, because they're lockers. I love them for that reason. But on my D-string, the D-string tuner broke. Because unfortunately the Fender locking tuners are kind of crap. Fender. And that one broke. So I got to wind it on like a traditional string, which takes a little bit longer. That's all right. The other ones go nice and quick. So what I'm doing is I put the strings on, tune it to pitch. Not perfect, just roughly. Do it again, 6 times. And then it's got strings on it. So you might be like, off to the gig, but don't. So what I'm doing there is just stretching them. And it's less about stretching the metal in some way. It's more about bedding the string ends in the ferrules and bedding them around the string posts and just making sure everything's sort of equal and not sticking. I do put a little lubrication on the string tree sometimes. And that's me just making sure the electronics are good, no crackles. I tune it up, give it a bit of a play, check the nuts, everything cool. Just making sure that the saddles are sort of sitting evenly on their legs. So there's not one that's higher and one that's lower. They're all pretty good. Checking the tuning again, giving it a play, checking the action with a little string gauge, making sure that the output jack is good. And then I just check the intonation. And I know this guitar is pretty good, right? I play it all the time. So I know it's pretty bang on, but it's new string time. So I check the intonation. And some of the strings were a little bit out and needed a little bit of a tweak. I could have maybe just not done that, but I've got a bench and I've got a bunch of tuners. So I just make sure that's right. And that's right. And then I'll, leave it, and that's it. We're done. So realistically, that took 20 minutes instead of 4.5. But, that's what I do as like a basic restring for me. Okay. If this was a client's guitar, I would spend a bit more time doing the cleaning and making sure everything's shiny and pretty. I would actually open up the electronics, make sure that was fine. And then I would stop and then leave it and then come back, preferably the next day, but maybe, just have a break, do something else, come back and then observe the guitar. And if you need to do any tweaking, then you do it. But otherwise, that's it. So I'll probably do that to my other spare guitar. Always take a spare guitar, and then we're done and we're ready for the gig. So see you in the pit. That's it.